Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Corporation Board of Directors and Executive Committee meeting. Today is Monday, April 22nd, 2024. Calling the meeting to order at 3:01. Thanks to Darren Albiano. Do we have a quorum?
Yes.
We do have a quorum, so we'll proceed. Any conflicts or declarations on any of the action items at this time? Not hearing any, we'll move along. In your pre-packet and out on the table as you entered are the minutes from the February 26, 2024 meeting. Any questions, comments, or revisions? Not hearing any, looking for a motion to approve.
I'll make that
I
motion.
don't know if they're on.
That's
Second.
Do we get that recorded? Who was the first and second? Who was the first?
Thank you.
Betsy, a second. Robin? Vince, thank you. All those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed? Motion carried. Public comment at this time. Move along. Action item, Executive Committee Report, Resolution 1-24, proclaim May 2024 National Bike Month. Yeah. somebody asked.
I moved up here.
Ah,
Great, thank you, Commissioner.
Now once.
We do have a couple slides to share on this. The League of American Bicyclists promotes May as National Bike Month, and they have done so since 1956. And we're presenting today a proclamation for your consideration for proclaiming May as National Bike Month. They also promote National Ride a Bike Day. We can go back to that slide for a second, Caitlin. On Sunday, May 5th, Bike to Work Week, May 13th through the 19th, the National Bike to Work Day on Friday, May 17th. And moving on to the next slide, SPC has supported May as National Bike Month. And since 2016, we've sponsored Bike and Walk to Work Day events. It's been a little different before COVID and after COVID. This must be Pick on Darren Day, because he's into it. And that's just
Remember those. That day I think I did.
when we were in the Chatham building, we met down at Market Square, wherever you biked from, and walking groups met there. And then we walk up to Chatham and have a breakfast rally in the plaza. We're excited about this year in this new space. We a little bit different. We'll be biking in from Riverfront Park in Millville, and then walking group, walking somewhere on the strip, and then meeting here at the terminal. So just to share some of the biking activities. Then the next slide, outside of May, we also promote bicycling. And we have a staff bike club called the Yellow Goat Bike Club. And I don't know if you've received any emails about that, but GOAT is an acronym for going out and that. And it just some word before that, so we put yellow there. And we do ride on the fourth Saturday of every month, April through October, except for May, because there's a Memorial Day weekend. So I'm looking forward to the first ride of this year. It'll be this Saturday, Rich will be leading us. And it's also celebrating Child's Day. So I just want to give you that little update. And then on the next slide, in light of our bike supporting bike activities, we also are designated silver level bicycle friendly business by the League of American Bicyclists. So we appreciate that, working for an employer that is that. So with that, Commissioner, I will then turn to the next item, which is our action requesting support proclamation of May as National Bike Month.
Can you go back 3 slides? One more.
He wants to see Darren.
So let's just, I just want to analyze Darren for a minute. Coffee, donut, hands in pocket. Go forward one. Go forward one. No, the other way. All right, those are real bikers. So, Varigani, how you doing?
Morning,
Good.
happy
All right.
Happy Monday, happy Monday.
Beautiful. All right, you go, Brock. So do we want to, we motion to adopt this here today at SBC? All right, so looking for a motion to adopt proclamation or resolution 124.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor, say aye. Aye. And could you also send that out to our respective counties? Maybe their commissioners would like to adopt that as well and promote it in their public meeting sessions. All right, moving on to financial report. Our finance.
Yes, thank you. Just a quick update with the revenue and expenses. We're at about 10.7 million, and we're about 45% of the budget. Like I said, with the BBB, that's always a little bit overshadowed just because there's so much of a budget there and we're at the mercy of when they spend it. Otherwise, I think we're on good. The next slide is just a quick little update about your member dues and the balance that we have with those. And as of the end of February, we're currently in a negative, which is why y'all got to look a little bit here. But this is just gives you a little quick update of how it's spent, and that's the match for the economic development and side and some general expenses. So if you want to see anything different, please let me know. Thank you.
Any questions on the finance report? Not hearing any, we'll move along to transportation report. Dom?
Thank you, Chairman. Want to give a quick update on the TIP. This is our TIP schedule. As you can see, many of these items are completed, including all of our TIP work group meetings. We had about 20 of them with the member counties and with the city of Pittsburgh. We worked through project selection for the TIP. And we got a draft TIP project list together. We have completed selection of our transportation alternative CMAQ carbon reduction projects that was selected via competitive application process earlier. We had our first round of public participation panel and public meetings back in the fall. We forwarded our draft TIP list to PennDOT Central Office for their review. The review is completed. We have sort of have a final draft TIP list now. That final draft received endorsement from our SPC Transportation Technical Committee and our Transit Operators Committee. We are now in the process of using that list to do our federally required air quality conformity and environmental justice analysis document preparations. We are also in the process of evaluating our smart transportation for livable communities applicants. We received applications, and I'll get to that. I'll get to that next slide or two. And we're in the process of evaluating those applications. Those projects will be a line item in our new TIP that will be drawn down by the successful applicants. We are planning a 30-day public comment period, which will include 11 public meetings from May 8th to June 7th, one meeting in each county plus one meeting for the city of Pittsburgh. And we will collect comments on that draft TIP and respond accordingly, all in the hopes of bringing our TIP, our 2025-2028 TIP adoption to the June commission meeting. Next slide. This is just a schedule of our upcoming public participation meetings that Rhonda and Caitlin from our comms group has coordinated with you and your staff. Most of them are in person. Some have requested hybrid. Some have requested virtual. Please note the meeting date and time for your county or for city of Pittsburgh there. So, and we have locations, and that a full schedule will be sent out if it hasn't already been sent out. Next slide. These are the applications that we received for our smart transportation for livable communities program. We have about $6 million available in this program. We got about a little bit over that. It's about $6.3 million worth of applications. As you can see there, I talked about this program at our last meeting. I'll get into more details on this program at the full commission meeting. I wanted the executive committee to see the applications themselves. You have the Sheepskin Trail, a new trail segment. That's in Fayette County. You have Pennsylvania 356 corridor improvements in Butler County that involve sidewalk and disability accommodations, ADA accommodations. Leechburg Road, pedestrian school zone safety improvements in Westmoreland County. SR 68 Adams and Virginia Avenue reconstruction, that's in Beaver County. West Liberty Avenue, that's in Allegheny County. That's sidewalk signals and ADA compliant improvements. State Route 158, Newcastle, New Market Street, roadway safety and shoulder improvements. You can see the sponsor of the application in the far right column there. Grand Avenue Road Diet Study. That's a study in Allegheny County on Neville Island. Do a road diet on Grand Avenue and Neville Island. Westmoreland Heritage Trail, Murraysville Crossing. That's to study some trail crossings, improving safety at trail crossings in Murraysville. Another part of the Sheepskin Trail is looking at those crossings of the roadway, trail crossings of the road. And the application was for flashers to alert vehicles to crossings of the road. And then the last, equitable access, Butler Township. Those are pedestrian transit and electric vehicle charging in Pullman Center in Butler County. So those are the 10 applications that we received. I'll get into more details about the program itself at the full commission meeting. Next slide. Wanted to talk about some just recent staff activity, mostly meetings that we have attended as of late. I won't mention every one of these, just the highlighted ones. We've been providing supportive data and letters of support for congressional budget requests. And I'll get to that in the next few slides. I'll get into more detail there. We had a kickoff meeting with Federal Highways on the mega grant, the $142.2 million mega grant that we received. We're continuing to meet with PennDOT and PRT. Just of note there, that mega grant includes a fix of the bathtub area of I-376, about $34 million for that, plus an additional, I think, $7 million we just received from central office that pushes that up to a $41 million fix. I'll mention that, the bathtub just recently closed due to flooding for the better part of 2 days. That area is 45,000 vehicles a day, that section of the westbound bathtub. We call it the bathtub. It has closed 16 times from 1985 to 2020. It's crazy. 3 times in 2018 alone. And now we got one closure here in 2024. Detours, travel, and freight delays, cleanup. We have economic loss of about $2.6 million a day for every day that little section is closed. So PennDOT took 2 days to clean up the mud and the debris. Rich, I don't know if you have anything you want to add to that?
No, I think it's, talk about appropriation, we just got it, and I think it's an important initiative, and I want to thank Secretary Buttigieg for awarding us that. There's other things in that $142 million grant, but that's obviously because of where we are right now and the timeliness of what's been happening in the last couple of weeks, right up there.
Thanks, Rich. We met with the University of Pittsburgh, Impactful Resilient Infrastructure, Science and Engineering, IRISE Consortium, to discuss membership and collaboration opportunities. University of Pittsburgh IRISE is doing research on bridges, noise walls, landslides. We've already collaborated with them a little bit on landslide work, and we're looking into more collaboration with them. They really do some good work in those areas, and more to come with that. I know they work with PennDOT on some of PennDOT's research, So we're looking for opportunities for more collaboration with them in those areas. We met with the developer of Cool Valley, for those from Washington County. We met with the developer of Cool Valley in South Point. They asked for the meeting. They wanted to provide us an update to their development plan, which is a mixed-use development plan, and also discuss, they've done a traffic impact study. They have a wide range of roadway improvements that they need to make as a result of the impact of the undeveloped 600 acres out there in that area near the I-79 interchange with South Point. So they gave us sort of an update, and, you know, they talked to us about potential funding mechanisms for some of that. And we discussed that with them. And I don't know, Rich, if you have anything to add there. It seems like we're getting more and more requests to meet with developers. But we did invite Washington County. Jason Bigston, the Washington County planner, was present at the meeting.
I think, again, as people learn more about what we do, they want to come and it wasn't just obviously transportation, but Jen and her team were there with workforce development. There's a lot of moving parts when you go into a major development that the Cool Valley folks are looking for, and lots of jobs and you know, hundreds of millions of dollars of investment. And we just want to partner with, again, our friends in Washington County that are supportive of this project as well.
Next slide. And then I'm just going to wrap it up by talking about what I mentioned before, these congressional budget requests, or quote unquote earmarks, that were opened by some of the members of Congress. So these are the long list of requests that we got for data and letters of support, which we provided. And you see there, we'll start with the House of Representatives. Those were requests. The top part of that slide is the request that went to Representative Summer Lee, and then Representative Rethenschaller. You see there, I won't go through each of these. I just want to make you aware, if you'd like a copy of these slides, I have them right here, or I can email them to anybody. But I just want to make folks aware that these requests were made. Most of them were made by PennDOT. A couple of them were made by Allegheny County. We're not aware of maybe some of the municipal requests that were made, but these are simply the folks that came to us for data support and letters of support. So the next slide is Representative Glenn Thompson. You see those two in Armstrong County, and underneath that slide, Representative Kelly, Butler and Lawrence. There are a couple of projects in Butler and Lawrence that had requests. Next slide is Representative DeLuzio covering Allegheny and parts of Beaver. And you see a long laundry list. All of these, we gave either data support and or letters of support for every one of these. And then the final slide is going to be the Senate, Senator Casey and Senator Fetterman requests. And I'm sorry, that is so small. I should have broke that up a little more too, but I have that in hard copy form too, if anybody wants it. But I just wanted to close by, those are a lot of requests, a lot of congressional requests that were made that kind of came through us for, support.
And I real quick want to highlight and thank Dom for having the initiative on the iRise, the landslide. And I know all of you deal with landslide, and be able to partner with some of the technical expertise that the University of Pittsburgh will be providing with us is something I think is going to be really beneficial as we partner with experts that can help us along various lines. That's one of those initiatives I think will really pay dividends in the future.
With that, I think that's my last slide. Thank you.
Thank you,
Any
Dom.
questions? Any questions?
Any questions for Dom? Not hearing any, we'll move along. Strategic initiatives and policy report. DJ.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Hi, everybody. Just a few highlighted points here. First of all, the climate pollution reduction grant, the resolution that commission supported last meeting to apply for the implementation grant. That application was submitted late last month. We submitted our final number request is $199 million, which puts us just under the puts us just in tier 2. We didn't want to compete against states for the top tier of funding, so we're going with the second tier. It's our hope that we can get this money and bring it back to the community here, but do it to implement a competitive process here locally. We've talked about this a lot. There are some really exciting projects out there that we could use this money on. There's a lot of metrics that I won't go into now in terms of how those projects will be selected, but the ultimate one is how much carbon can you take out of the air for the dollar you're spending. There's of course, a lot more to it, including, as we discussed at this meeting last time, the ability for counties to sign off on applications so that they're part of the county's strategic plan. Gives you an opportunity to hear every applicant that would come to SPC before they actually fill out their application. The narrative, I'm going to drop, Rhonda actually is going to drop a link in the chat for the narrative, and we'll also email a copy of that out in case anybody wants to look at it. There are many other documents. If you want those, come to us, because there's a lot that I can't imagine that anybody would want to read, but if you do, let us know. I want to give a special thank you to SPC staff, to Lily and Kathy and Mason and Ozzy, our finance office. This was truly a group effort, and especially to the members of our steering committee, some of whom are in the room with us right now. We did invite one representative from each county to be on that committee, and there's been a lot of good discussion there, and it's been a really great sounding board. We expect to have good news in July, but in the meantime, we're going to do some good old-fashioned advocacy. So if any of you are talking to federal elected officials, please mention this grant application. We are coordinating not just through the counties to advocate for this application, but as many places as we possibly can. Next slide, please. As far as other grants go, oh, sorry, you go back one. Okay. I'll just mention briefly on the planning side, our priority climate action plan, which is part of the $1 million grant we got from EPA, that was submitted March 1st, and that plan is available on our website. We're now turning to the implementation, or now to the comprehensive climate action plan. That's due in 2025 and has a very robust public engagement strategy. So we'll have a lot more to talk to you about with that after we get through the TIP public meetings. Then we're going to talk about coming to your counties again to do public meetings around the comprehensive climate action plan. So lots more on that as we go forward. As far as other grants go, we are discussing, Lily and Dom and the rest of our team especially have been reaching out to discuss potential applications for the Active Transportation Infrastructure Investment Program. You can get $100,000 for planning and design around an active transportation project, or anything over 15 million. So there's a lot of money to be had there. So if you have a project idea in that space, we hope you'll reach out to us. If we don't lead an application, if SPC doesn't lead an application in that area, then we are more than happy to assist with one of your applications. Also, the charging and fueling infrastructure program is expected to open soon. This is for publicly accessible electric vehicle chargers. A lot of it off of major corridors. That's something that I know a couple of our counties rather have applied for in the past. If you're looking at an application for this year, please reach out to us. And just in general, there's a lot of funding programs out there that are put into SPC's newsletter. So please reach out. Please subscribe to the SPC newsletter and take a look. Lily writes a whole section on funding opportunities each time that those newsletter goes out. We are just to reiterate, especially for some of our newer members, we do lead regional grant applications like CPRG, but we're always happy to provide technical assistance to your applications. Whether you're a county, the city, PennDOT districts, anybody else. If you have a project, please come to us. We've talked a lot about bringing funding back to the region. The thing that we need from you the most is priorities, is ideas on specific projects that you need help getting funded. And please reach out to me or to Lily or anybody on the team to connect you to the right place. Next slide, please. On broadband, the Digital Navigator survey that we presented about last meeting, that survey went out. There's a second round of requests for responses going out this week. And but if you have anyone that plays in the broadband space, specifically around digital navigation, that you would like their opinion to be included, you'd like a copy of the survey sent out to them, please let me know. We talked a little bit at the policy committee meeting about the Broadband Infrastructure Program Awards. So we're all using different metrics. I took so I say 27.5 million, and that's because I'm taking the not the whole project cost, but just the share that's coming from the state funds. So we have a lot of work to do there to make sure that we get a more equitable distribution for our region. Very happy to see some of the money that came in, but we could always use more. And I think there are some counties especially that need more. I'll note here that there's a lot of money that went to our neighbors as well, counties just outside the SPC region. We mentioned the Indiana County projects in particular because they're multi-county, and there's a lot of money coming in from that. On the freight side of things, I'll just discuss that really quickly. Next slide, please. Thank you. So as you all know, it's been raining a lot. There's been a lot of flooding. Another landslide avenue for all of you. There is a landslide assistance program open through PEMA. If you have any landslide needs, please connect with us. I think a lot of you were probably at a meeting that happened last week about PEMA trying to collect information on any landslides that have happened recently and how they can then take that to the federal government to try to get some funding for it. If you haven't connected with PEMA about any landslide problems in your communities, please reach out. So you may have been following the news about the loose barges that were floating down the river as a result of the flooding. Talked to the Port of Pittsburgh this morning, and 25 of those 26 barges have recovered. Everything is back to normal. That last barge has sunk. It was full of coal and it's on the bottom of the river. They have to go through a process to get it out. They cut a hole in it or something. They were trying to explain it to me, but it went over my head. But they're going to get the barge out. But the river travels back to normal. But the thing I want to note here is that the lock operators who were at the locks played a very key role in the response here because it was dark out. And so the only way you could see these things coming was when you heard them go over the dam or heard them crash into something. If we didn't have lock operators, we're talking about that on the Allegheny River in particular right now, we'd be in real trouble because we would not have been able to know. We wouldn't have known where the things were. It would have been a big problem. So I could go on for a long time about why lock operators are important 24/7, but especially at an emergency situation like this. With that, I will, that's it for me unless anybody has questions.
Any questions for DJ? All right, Jen, you're up.
Good afternoon, everybody. Next slide. Here we go. Partners for Regional Economic Performance and Community Performance, our export program. I'm going to talk a little bit about 3 slides. Did a great job with 39 companies assisted, 56 counseling sessions. And just so you all know, when I read any of these numbers off to you, this is just SPC staff doing this and how we work one-on-one with our small businesses in the 9-county region. So 10 companies were served with 19 overseas work orders to 11 countries, and that is the Bring the World to PA event that I'm going to talk about in a moment. Under our government contract technical assistance, 8 companies were assisted with 11 counseling sessions. And we helped 13 companies receive 58 awards totaling $2.3 million. And then under commercial lending, 16 companies were assisted with 19 counseling sessions. 2 loans were closed. That was Superior Fine Grind for $300,000 and Ace Wire Spring and Form for $335,000. And then under our Keystone Opportunity Zone, we had 7 inquiries, 6 applications were received. We had 3 businesses served, 3 businesses improved, and an investment of $969,000. And we've had 17 jobs created and 61 jobs retained. Next slide. Under ARC and EDA grant technical assistance, we had 19 regional applications. PA had 38 total. The due date was April 17th at 5 p.m., which, God bless you, Faith, for the last 6 weeks, she has been working one-on-one. And each application that was going out for power, she was on hours and hours of phone, email, web visit, you name it, to kind of handhold people through this whole process. And I just want you to know that is very common for us to do. We are here to provide that assistance. So if you do have that, we're here. ARC area development, dollar-wise, we're on hold till July. We had a record number of 12 Southwestern Pennsylvania selected to move forward, representing $6.7 million. So that's huge for us. Those that were in the prior meeting when we talked to you about why it's so important to keep those area development dollars around, this is why. ARC Arise is still open. It's a rolling deadline. This is a multiple state-related grant. So does not have to be contiguous states. It could be Pennsylvania, Kentucky, and Arkansas. EDA is still looking for projects. We assist 2 EDA projects with some technical assistance. Next slide. And wanted to mention, spotlight a great event that our export team put on last month at Bringing the World to PA. So again, we have an export team here at SPC funded by Partnerships for Regional Economic Performance. So this is us helping businesses that want to export their product overseas to Canada, Mexico, et cetera. And so this was held on March 15th at CMU. So the Office of International Business Development, OIBD, this is through Department of Community and Economic Development, and the Regional Export Network. Historically, if I were to tell you that, that was OIBD through DCED and RENT, you know, an acronym. But basically, we had 30 companies in attendance in this, resulting in 110 one-on-one meetings. And so basically, each of these businesses were able to meet with a trade rep from around the world, which was amazing. And so Rich kicked off the event and spoke on the international importance of export and what that impact is here economically. And again, I think you know this, but if not, we are the designated regional export network for Southwestern Pennsylvania. And this is managed by 2 amazing people that you see in picture here, who is Rena and Jackie. And our program is funded by PrEP and REN dollars. So again, these are line items in the budget, and why that budget is so important is that this is direct one-on-one assistance to businesses that we're able to assist with. So what this did was it provided an opportunity for Pennsylvania companies to meet one-on-one with Pennsylvania authorized trade representatives. So all across the world, there are trade offices in which they can help somebody from the United States start to get their product overseas. And so this is in the area of business intelligence. Maybe somebody wants to know, would my product even do well here? Agent and distributor candidates. So who do I even find to distribute my product out? Industry and government contacts, on the ground assistance. So maybe you want to go over there for a meeting and talk to that company and you don't even know where to start. And anything you're really looking to do from an export perspective, that's what this program is going to do. So great picture. Next slide. And so more about this Bring the World to PA event. Again, we had in attendance Australia via New Zealand, Canada, China, Czech Republic, Germany, India, Israel, Mexico, Netherlands, Singapore, South Korea, Taiwan, and the United Kingdom. And so each person was able to sit down and talk to those folks. We do a lot of things here. And so I really just like to spotlight every meeting that we do something different. And this is one of them. And this was a major event. Was there one more slide? So basically, this Bring the World PA event happens throughout the entire REN network. And for this, ours just happened to be March 15th. What was amazing is that, I think you all know this, but we had the St. Patrick's Day Parade that next Saturday. So all of those folks that were here from around the world got to see Pittsburgh's St. Patrick's Day Parade and all the festivities. I was slightly worried about them. But they had a great time, and they were not only able to see all the great things in Pennsylvania, but they were able to see the city of Pittsburgh, us as a community, and we're just blown away by the city itself. So thank you. If y'all have any questions on this event, please let me know, and just thank you again for your time.
All right, any questions for Jen? Not hearing any, Caitlin?
So Sarah Teagan called the Commissioner of Service. He's kind of our debut. And what we want to do is the work yesterday, complex and complicated. So we want to try to distill it and knows that information that the app is thinking about jobs. And we need to get our message to go across. So we're working our way through you all, the commissioners. Academy is a commissioner. Yeah. So kind of set up a little graph. So if you guys are here, I'm gonna work with your staff on tips and we'll do some content for some tips. So it's not on we'll put some video, some of the links for a newsletter.
Is it pre or post beer?
Comment there. There's a lot of editing in there. I see it. Do you have anything else? Thank you. Well done. Appreciate you and your team, Caitlin. All right, Executive Director.
So along those lines, the other thing Caitlin has decided, we're going to do is, as you have big events in your counties, we're going to be, trying to be right in there and support the events that are going. And Caitlin,
Yep.
there we go. Okay. The first one we had, we're going to talk about is at the Stonecrest Business Park up in Lawrence County, right on Route 18, right across the line from Beaver County. So it really covers both of those counties. And you can see the commissioners up there, along with Lieutenant Governor Davis. Representative Bernstein was there. A major piece of property right on, again, a few miles off of the turnpike, with commissioners to left to right, Sonato, Vogler, and Kennedy. Kennedy looking very good there, right on a cold day. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you for coming out. Next, we had an event up in a Tri-County Entrepreneurial Makerspace project with the 1.5 billion of the BBB Regional Challenge Grant that Jen and her team work on. And these three counties were actually Indiana, Armstrong, and Cambria. I know Cambria is not in the SBC group, but certainly partner with those teams. You had the IUP, the President Driscoll, Senator Pittman was part of that, and a lot of the folks dealing with robotics and some of the great initiatives that they are doing at Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Next, a ribbon cutting down in Fayette County. And I know we might want to talk about this in a minute regarding broadband, but the Armstrong Company, which is a major communication company, opening up their offices, home offices there in Connellsville. Again, Lieutenant Governor Davis was there along with Representative Bud Cook for the ribbon cutting for that, along with commissioners, again, from left to right, Lord Dunn and Commissioner Facides. Big initiative, again, things that are going on. And I know Vince will probably want to talk about some of the broadband things that we want to get to. Next is Butler County, Butler happenings. And you probably noticed that Commissioner Oshie and Geyer and Boozle, who are usually here, are not here right now. Actually, they're hosting Secretary Granholm is there today. A very big, a couple of big meetings. You can see a full auditorium there regarding the Butler's, the Cleveland Cliffs Steel Mill up in Butler County, and early ruling was going to come out against the type of transformers that were being made there. Would have shut that plant totally down. Congressman Kelly and Governor Shapiro both came out and advocated for the making of those transformers, and they have actually reversed that decision. So that plant will remain open. And I know the commissioners were all up there working very, very hard, and they're actually there today. I think she's making that announcement in Butler County today, Secretary Granholm. Next, and now we have a trail opening, 10 miles of trail, the Erie to the Pittsburgh to Erie trail, or the Erie to Pittsburgh, whichever way you're going. 10 miles. A couple of weeks ago, we did this. We had Representatives Oberlander and Representative Major were there. from the State House, and along with obviously Commissioner Strachey and Fabian. It was a really, really great event to see the beauty of along the Allegheny River, that trail was there. A number of our members were up there, a number of our from the staff from the SBC riding their bikes, along with Chris Ziegler and her team. And then finally, we were invited to speak at Leadership Pittsburgh, Leadership Butler, and Leadership Washington County at the Trolley Museum in Washington County. And you can see our directors there. Again, a lot of people don't always know everything that SPC does. They obviously think about transportation, but it's so much more. Jen and her team with workforce and economic development, all the special initiatives that DJ works on, Kirk, and all the data that is gathered by this organization, and obviously Caitlin and the communication that we're trying to get the word out, through various, whether it be social media or traditional media, that we're trying to do along those lines. And lastly, I want to talk about our visit to Harrisburg in a couple of weeks. For whoever can certainly make it, I think it's going to be very important. On May 6th, there's going to be a reception from 5 to 7. We've been invited to participate with the Allegheny Conference. And at that, it's a reception from the Chamber of Commerce in Philadelphia, as well as the Chamber of Commerce and Allegheny Conference of Pittsburgh. It's from 5 to 7 in the Keystone Building, and you will see probably most likely the governor, lieutenant governor, and many of the secretaries that we deal with, PennDOT, DCED, DEP, Health, DHS, DCNR, et cetera. And then the next morning, our friends from Buchanan will be helping us host a breakfast reception with our delegation, the House and Senate delegation from Harrisburg. That'll be 8 o'clock the next morning. So it'll be Monday night, Tuesday morning. And I think the one thing I'm going to advocate that for each commissioner, each county, to put together our priorities for some of the discussions that we want to have. There's also a series of meetings we'll be scheduling with various members of the delegation and secretaries and members of the administration. But these initiatives that we want to put forward, that you need to put forward in your various counties, whether they be around transportation, whether they be around broadband, workforce, all the various things that we work on. We want to make sure that we're there for that. So that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Anybody have any questions for Rich? Chuck, would you like to say anything about that visit to Harrisburg?
No, we're working on, as Rich said, we're working on the itinerary right now with the chairs of the Transportation Committee and a number of others. So I would hope that as many commissioners want to come. We're also going to have dinner on Monday night after that reception with the Chamber of Commerce, with the members of the House Transportation Committee. Off campus a little bit, so we're going to be doing that. It's making a lot of stops for those 2 days. So anybody interested in coming, I gave Rich and some of the commissioners a rough draft of the itinerary so far. We're going to be adding some additional amenities, especially as it relates to broadband, because it's become a very hot issue since last Thursday in the announcements of those schools.
And I think there's no question that the more we're there, and the mayor can probably speak, the more present you are, the more success you usually have. If that's having been a member, you know exactly, but sitting on both sides of that conversation.
I want to say that 2 years ago, the commissioners were up, and I think we had some good meetings up there. We're going to try to duplicate that, but we have to do that encourage you to do it on a more regular basis, not just once every 2 years, a couple of times a year, especially when you have this money that's available, whether it be federal money or state money. We got to make sure our priorities are known.
Caitlin, do we where are we at on our RSVPs? You know, I'm going. Anybody else on the executive team going? Show of hands. So we got 4 here. Mayor Gady, are you happen to go on or available to go on May 6th?
Let me check.
Put him on the spot there.
Let me check.
I appreciate it when 2 years ago, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I think Rich hit the nail right on the head. I'll be quite frank. And this is what I'm sharing with everybody from the West. Like, the East don't have no problem coming up there as a unit. They're going to come up to the unit. They're going to get what they want. They might go home and rob each other, but at least they get what they want. And I think, and I got Chuck here. I got some people here. The perception of the West is that we're never unified. Perception of the West is that we don't come up there. perception of the West is that the business community, they see electeds, but there's always been a division. I think we're changing that perception. And I think that you going up there with an agenda, there should be an agenda. Every county should have an ask of what you want. You don't need 21 questions or 21 lists, but you should at least have an ask that you already know you have matching funds for that you're able to get other money from, so that you make it a little bit easier when you get up there. But I think that if you're just going up there now, you don't go for another 2 years. Don't waste your time going now. I think that if you really want to be effective, you got to really go up there.
Appreciate your feedback, Mayor Gainey. Personally, before we just adjourn here, and move on to our 4 o'clock meeting, a couple weeks ago, we had an executive members orientation put on by SBC. I found it very informative, even though I've been here for 9 years, but these are the packets. If you weren't able to make it that day, we make sure that our executive members that that weren't in attendance get those orientation packets, and maybe send it out to the rest of the commissioners and board members as well. This for review. I found it very helpful. And on that same day, we met with numerous foundations. I don't know how many how many they were, but there was a awful lot of foundations. I found it, and I think the executive commissioners were there too. Found it very informative to have that meet and greet. So thank you, SBC, for setting that up for us. And then anything for the good of the order.
Commissioner, can I finish one thing? If you guys, just for logistics, so DJ and I are working on the invite list for who's going, and Chuck and Aaron and their team are going to make follow-up calls for the lawmakers so they know to come to the breakfast that we're hosting. But if you can shoot DJ or me a note just saying you're going to come, that would be great. We'll be able to get our RSVPs together. And then if you can also send us 2 or 3 of your priorities, bullet points that everyone's talking about. You just want to send us a couple bullet points for up, and we'll say whatever the issue is, because we are compiling a leave behind for the lawmakers. So that would be great. And if you can get it to us by Friday, that would be
And to follow up on what, I'm glad Pat talked about the foundation meeting that we had a little while back. 2 of the big issues we are working on, the CPRG grant. You could put up to $200 million worth of requests that DJ talked about. We put up 199, so we got as close to the line as you could get. But a lot of those initiatives will be helped by some of the philanthropic community that have some of those same priorities. Broadband also the same way. So sometimes putting a plan together in which there's some quote unquote match money from another source, whether it be corporate community, private sector, philanthropic community, also helps strengthen the plan when we go to Harrisburg and make an ask there as well.
Sounds good. All right, looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Betsy. You have a second?
Second.
Got a second? All those in favor say aye. Aye. See you in a few minutes.